tried to clean all day, but I'm not a cleaner. What is up, y'all? It is Mirah. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a little bit of a story time. I guess I'm just gonna get started. This video is gonna be about how I got fired, maybe a little bit about my experience, but mainly how I got fired. I waited 4 years. I found out about this program when I was like a senior in high school, and I was like, I want this so bad, but I couldn't apply before I did because I don't know, like, it was just like I applied at the perfect time, and let me explain why. So right before I decided to go to Disney, I just felt like my world was falling apart. I had just got out of a bad relationship, and I needed to start over because school just wasn't it for me. I was just like, I can't be here anymore, and I can't do this, and I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. I applied to the Disney college program the day before the application closed. 2 weeks later, I had a phone interview. A week later, I found out that I got it. And I didn't tell anybody that I applied. My vibrations were low, my self-esteem was low, so I didn't think I was going to get it. And then, yeah, I didn't want to disappoint anybody, and I already felt like such a big disappointment. But that's a different story for a different day. I was super excited. I found out that I got it in April, and I was leaving in August. So I get to the program. I had my doctor fill out a medical release form. At the time, I was struggling with my anxiety and depression. I was gonna have a 40-hour work week every week, so we just kind of capped that off at 35 because I was still down there taking 5 classes. Well, 2 Disney classes, but one I actually had to be there. The other one was like a study session. But on my study sessions, all I did was sleep because I was so tired. Working at Disney was probably the most trying experience that I've ever had. Like, some of the stuff that we had to live by, like, that wasn't the life for me. The whole Disney college program is that you come down there, it's supposed to be a break from school, but you're working in the parks. So I went down there. I ended up changing jobs while I was down there. After working at Disney, I can never, ever, ever work fast food again. It was the most stressful thing in my life. People are so fucking rude. As somebody who goes to Disney and enjoys it and watches how they treat people, to know that people are just down there treating people any kind of way, it's the most disturbingest fucking thing in the whole wide world. People are fucking rude and entitled. It wasn't just customers, it was employees as well. I'm gonna just tell my stories. You do not get time off. CP college program, they joke, like part-time and full-time, joke about that CP is just closing shift. And when I mean closing shift, I got there every day at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I did not get off till 1:30. That might not sound like a lot, but that's a lot when you have 7 classes, and nobody cared or understood. I knew my management didn't care when I asked could I come in later one day because I had a test and I just felt so overwhelmed. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. She looked at me and said, well, when I was down here, I worked 80 hours and I took just as many classes as you did, and you don't even work that many hours, so I don't see why you need to stay afloat. You just need to work on your time management skills. I knew from that moment on that I not need to go to management anymore. I had a manager tell me that all his friends was black. That's why he didn't see why I went to an HBCU. It was just so fucking unfair. I wasn't thriving. I was really surviving. But in that time I was surviving, I learned that I could be independent and depend on myself. It's crazy. Like, I worked 5 hours a week, 8 hours a day, and I was taking 5 classes, y'all, and I still made the fucking dean's list. Like, that, it was fucking pure dedication. I set off to come home for our homecoming. I also requested a couple days off for my mom because she was coming. I didn't get any of the days I requested off. So any day that I was hanging out with her, like, I was literally slept with her that night, got up to go to my Disney class, came back and hung out at the parks just to go to work, like, later. November, when it's time for me to go for homecoming, I had already bought my plane ticket. But when I was going home, I also needed to go to the dentist because my bite was off. Because I went to everywhere in Florida and nobody was taking my insurance. So I was like, I need to go home. Pretty much, I had to send like 10 emails till I got the days off. Because nobody at Disney switches your shifts. Like, nobody wants your shifts at Disney because nobody wants to be there longer than they have to. And that sounds so fucking bad. I can't say that I had it bad, but I ain't have it good either. And they didn't care because they didn't have to. And, like, I don't blame them, but it's whatever. So I got my days off. I got back and my manager literally looked at me and was like, yeah, you got those days off because I asked for you to have those days off. And I was like, so the 15 emails I sent, like, that wasn't the reason that I got off, because I've literally been calling and begging everybody for these days off. But yeah, it was all you got it, sis. Anybody who knew me knew that I was ready to go home. When I was doing my program, I literally had to set little mini celebrations for myself so that I'd finish, because I was so unhappy while I was down there. One was my mom getting there in October. The next one was the reason that got me fired in November. And then Disney prom. The story of what got me fired. I requested off 4 days in hopes that I'd just get one off. I wanted these days off because it would be the first time I could take me and all 7 of my family members to Disney for free, because I had worked that hard to take all of us to Disney for free. And they got there on Thanksgiving Day. I cooked them dinner. It was the first time I ever cooked a turkey breast, but I worked my ass off to cook them food. And I stayed in the hotel with them, in our smallest hotel that night, and I realized being there with them, like, I really didn't give a fuck anymore. And that sounds so bad, but it was like the first time that I had felt good in a long fucking time. And the next day, I had to be to work at 5. I had to take them to the parks for the first time, because if I didn't, then my whole program would have been in vain, because getting the free tickets was the only reason I went, because I know there was no way we would all be able to go as a family if I didn't go. It wasn't the only reason I went, but it was a big factor, because my grandpa had never been and my 4 little cousins had never been. Well, my 3 little cousins had never been. So it was just my goal. It was my dream. It was my little mini milestone. At the parks, everything's going good. It hits about 2 o'clock and we have just made it to Magic Kingdom, and I'm like, oh shit, it's time for me to go to work. It's time for me to leave my family and go to work. I just couldn't leave my family, like, and I knew it was breaking a rule, because the rule is if you go to a park on the day you work and you don't go to work, you get fired. And I just remember being in that moment and feeling like, if I leave, I will miss out on the whole dream that I had of taking them there and being there with them. Like, that was my goal, and I had accomplished my goal. I had accomplished a goal that nobody else in my family had done. I remember my mom looking at me, and my mom's like, it's time to go. Are you gonna go? And I'm just like, I'm here, no. And she's like, well, you know what this means, because we both mutually knew what it meant if I didn't go. And I called out, and I had called that day earlier trying to get off. And at that point, I was so unhappy that I didn't care. It didn't matter. Like, a job versus a moment that I'd never be able to get back. I'd never be able to look back at the moments we had watching my grandpa fall asleep at the Frozen, but yet saying he loved it, or getting to hold my cousin while we're watching a light show and she's scared of Ursula. And I remember telling her, you know, the heroes always win, why I'd be so scared, and she wasn't scared. Or seeing the face of my cousin when they got to dance with all the characters. Like, it's so many things that makes that job so obsolete, and that's why I don't care. So life just went by 2 weeks. I got called into the office and he was like, just tell me what happened. And I lied. I didn't know what else to do. Like, I said my car broke down. He was like, are you sure? And I was just like, yeah. I lied and I didn't care, because I knew what was about to happen. They took my blue ID. We'll call you in 3 days. We got in the car and I called my mom and I told her what was happening, and I told her that I just didn't know, but I knew I'd be going home. And she was like, okay, do you want me to come or not? And I was like, no, I think I'll be okay. Because the whole time this was going, like, my emotions were kind of like, but I just always knew I was going to be okay. Like, I knew I was going to be okay because it was supposed to happen. Like, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and it was supposed to happen, and I know it was supposed to happen. I'm freaking out because I just bought a dress for Disney prom, and I'm like, damn, I don't even know if I'm going to get to go to this, and this is the big thing that I wanted to go to. I called my friend. I decided that I was going to go to Disney prom and fuck it up. And if I got sent home the next day, I got sent home the next day. Called me the day of Disney prom and said, we need you to come in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. After I got my phone call, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to prom. So I got all dressed up and I went to Disney prom, which was like probably the best experience of my fucking life. That top any prom that I've ever been to, any party that I ever been to. It was literally your 13-year-old white girl Disney self. Jonas Brothers was playing and Taylor Swift. Just so amazing. And you had characters everywhere. I was there and I was like, damn, I know I'm getting fired tomorrow. Really enjoyed that last moment because I knew that was it. I knew that my Disney was over. So it came the day after Disney prom. I got there early. The man made a point, oh, she's early. And I was like, damn, nigga, did you not think I was professional just because you firing me? Because I don't want to fucking be here. My attendance record was horrible. I had points and shit because, like, I was literally trying to get work done. I was calling out of work to take tests and get shit done. Like, this is for facts how I knew everything was going to be okay. And I hope I still have this picture of this video because I have to put it in. I have to show y'all that I'm not fucking lying. Before I went in the sky was written, Jesus loves you. And then just saying that in the sky, like, it just felt like it was meant for me. Anything bad that I thought could happen or would happen wasn't going to, because I was God. Like, my angels was really watching over me. This wasn't a bad thing. Like, I knew this was not a bad thing. It's crazy. I was ready to go. So it wasn't bad when I got fired. It was like a relief. But I left. I packed my car, I got my car, and I left. I don't got no ill feelings towards Disney. I love Disney to death. But I can't work there again. Like, I really feel like I lived my dream, but my dream wasn't. The magic is still there. Like, creating magic is really, really joyful, but, like, I don't want to do that shit no more. I did not enjoy that shit. That's the story about how I got fired from my dream internship. If you want me to talk about going to Disney or talk about my Disney experience, I would love to. I got some stories for days. It has been a sweet experience. Thank you for watching. Thank you for loving. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time. Okay, bye.